So we're going to talk about how I prepared, how I became full-time musician. I played covers. Would I be a musician or would I be an entertainer? An entertainer that plays guitar and sings. So I guess that makes me a musician. I don't know. So, moved to Florida, 2017. Woo! And I had worked in marketing for 20 years. And I was a weekend warrior guitar player. So I'd come home from my day job, fly in from whatever city I was working, get together with my friends, and we would, rock the Eagles Club, or we would rock the local pub, right? 3-piece band, classic rock, whatever a 50-year-old guy plays. And I did that all my life. And since I was 15. So I had a foundation of guitar skills. So moved to Florida. Lost my job at 50. That's another story altogether. Lost my job at 50. Consulted a little bit, and then I moved to Florida in 2017. How old was I? I was in my mid-50s. And was working, because I did live shows. I did live shows all over, and I had some tech experience and some, a little bit of this management experience, a little bit of everything in marketing and live shows. So I went to work for some companies that hired like day workers at the Orange County Convention Center. And I thought, hey, I'll do really well. I was a PowerPoint designer for many, many years. A lot of experience in PowerPoint, big shows, small shows, regional meetings, regional meeting facilitator, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of that malarkey. That's what I call it. So, came to Florida and realized that the pay rates are low. You don't make the same money you make in Michigan, which I lived just outside of Detroit, about 50 miles from Detroit. And you just don't make the same kind of money you make there. You don't work the same kind of hours. You work less hours, less money. It's just kind of a lower thing. And at the time, when I came in 2017, looking at real estate, and this is a whole other thing, but it just seemed like it would cost less to live in Florida. That is not the case today. Don't take this as advice to live in Florida because it costs less. It costs a lot more than it did in 2017. 2025, it costs much, much more to live in Florida than it did in 2017. So this is not, I would never look at a video of Tim and say, well, he said it would cost less to live here. It costs more to live in Florida than it does to live in Michigan. So moved to Florida, rates are lower. I'm kind of working at entry-level stuff, not real happy. Looked up some friends that had moved down here earlier. And some of them were also musicians that I had played with, hobbyist entertainer guys. And they said, Tim, you could play music every day of the week in Florida. And I said, huh? You could play every day of the week. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of places to work as a musician or entertainer in many different facets every day of the week. Because Florida, their economy is built on tourism. It's built on visitors, and it is built on people that come. They want to do interesting things, And everybody's got a different concept of what they're going to do when they come to Florida, and they need to be entertained sometimes. And sometimes, what somebody said to me years ago is that somebody got this idea that every small pub, every pool, every resort had to have a guitar player playing in the lobby, had to have a guitar player by the pool. I don't know how true that is, but I would say, yeah, it's everywhere. There is, 4-hour, 3-hour guitar playing, singing jobs, hundreds of them in Orlando. So I mean, some musicians don't want to do that kind of work. It isn't, I wish there was a way that I could portray it so that you would understand. I mean, you just watched me drive to work. I did my thing by myself, said hi to a few people. They dropped a few fives in my bucket on the way by, and I'm like, yay, hey, thanks. And so, love the tips, and, get a couple bucks and get a couple hellos, and, hey, you're awesome, thank you. But that's it. It's not like it is when you go out with your band buddies on a Friday night after you've worked all week, and you're just hanging out and you're rocking out some songs together. It's like, oh, let's rock some songs, let's have a good time, check out my new guitar. And you're not needing that guitar to do your job. Things completely change when the guitar that you buy is as important as the shoes you wear. It's your tool now that you need to pay the rent. So it's not, it's gotta be, it's different. It's a different perspective when, you used to buy, oh geez, I love the paint job on this. That's not as important as how well is it going to work for a couple of years, because I'm looking at trying to, make a couple $100,000 off of this guitar, potentially. And I needed to show up for work day after day after day and not need to be coddled, and it might blow over, and it might get damaged, and I need to know that if it falls off its stand, that's not gonna, it can't be, it needs to be robust. So that was a big awakening for me with the musical equipment, that some of it, even though you spend a lot of money on it, it seems to not be as robust, not as solid as you need it to be. The cases that seem to be, that, when you use them once a week, they'll last you a lifetime. But when you use them, for a gig every day, they literally will wear holes right through them. And you look at that and you go, geez, I paid $75 just for that case, or $50 for a case for a speaker, and it's ripped and the handle is falling off. And you use everything every day. It needs to be a little bit more hardy. So you certainly look at the equipment differently. You need it in a different way. You have to have it. And so you look at it as though, well, do I want to spend $700 on a vocal processor, or just sing better? Maybe I should just sing better. That would probably be, let's listen to that again. Let's listen to that and say, well, geez, I don't need a $700 vocal processor. I'll just work out my vocals a little bit more so that they sound better. That's really what it boils down to sometimes. So anyway, back to the original topic. I will talk about some of my equipment though, because I've got some interesting equipment that I use, and I'll have to play some sound samples so that you can judge what it should cost, or if it just sounds like garbage because it's cheap. And I'm talking about specifically my guitar processor is $68, and I'm actually proud of it. I wouldn't mind if it broke, I'd buy another one. So So anyway, leave a comment. I'll do a video on that process, or I'll play some samples that show some live video of me playing it in a band situation. Yes, I play through a $68 guitar processor in front of 2,000 people. That's awesome. So I'm in Florida. I don't like the money I'm making. I'm in a rental because we're trying to, we're really, I keep saying we're recalibrating, but boy, we're constantly going to be recalibrating in this world, aren't we? This friend says to me, a wise man, he says, you could play every night of the week with your skills. And really, I never sang that much. I've always sang. I can sing a little bit. Well, I would say now I'm a singer because I've worked thousands of hours on the microphone. So, yeah, man, I just beat that Audi off the light. So what do you need to do? How did it happen for me that I played 265 shows? So the first thing I needed to do is I needed to test myself, and I needed to find out, can I play and sing for 4 hours? Most gigs are 4 hours, 45-minute sets. Some places will want you to play the full hour and then take 15 or 20, usually 15. Sometimes I take 20. And back to the top of the clock, so you start out at whatever the time is, you go 1 full hour, take a break, up to the top of the hour, take a break, up to the top of the hour. Is that 4 hours? You're done, whatever. So, can I do that? Will my voice hold up for that? Because, you don't know. And I had a booking agent at the time, and I don't work for him anymore, whatever. At the time, he would call me. He just appeared to be really unorganized. I don't know what his deal was, but he would call me and, can you get over to this resort? And, he'd text me in the morning and, can you get there? And hey, I just want to make money. I was thrilled to play guitar. I'm making a living playing guitar. And, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I met this guy, and I had to keep calling him and say, can I? So I'm getting kind of ahead of myself here. So I'm building this show. What am I going to do? I've been a lead guitar player, so I got to find the right setup, the right presentation for me. Oh, here comes Audi guy. He wasn't happy that I beat him off the light. So what is the right presentation for me? And for me to be able to get through the night, I decided, and I thought in my little mind, that it's entertaining for me to be able to play lead guitar as part of my presentation. So in order to do that, I knew that I was going to need to play a song and do loops. I don't know if any of you are loopers or not, but you're gonna have to do loops and play leads over the loops. So the other part of that equation is that I've always been an electric guitar player. I'm not very good, I don't have big hands. I don't think I have really good hand strength. And I've never found an acoustic guitar that I could play, there's the big secret, that I could play every day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and not cripple my hands in the process. So I knew that I needed to find technology. I needed to find an electric guitar that sounded like an acoustic. So I did a lot of research, and I found there are some great guitars out there that are electrics, that have a piezo pickup. Do your research on that, and they sound fantastic. And they sound like acoustic guitars. Enough like an acoustic guitar that you'll get hired as an acoustic guitar player. So they can be expensive though. I can recommend one. If you leave a comment, I'll recommend one that is not expensive, that I really like, and it's fantastic. I haven't played in a while because I have some others, but I have one and I like it, and it's a great guitar. So if you want one, I can recommend one. I won't do it on my channel because they don't pay me. So I go into the store, I buy a guitar. I go in there after a certain guitar. They had one, but it was heavy. And I'm like, I don't know. And my wife actually helped me pick it out. And, you know, I may not have the whole story straight. She may have completely picked it out. And so I ended up with a Music Man John Petrucci 15th anniversary. Super nice guitar, very expensive. This is, again, God bless her, my wife, you know, having faith in me and saying, let's spend the money, let's go for it. In the meantime, I had played some gigs. And I struggled a little bit. It was hard, you know, because I wanted to know that I was going to continually make money before I spent a lot of money on a setup. Because you're going to need some type of speaker, PA system of some level. You're going to need the whole setup, and it's scary when you start pricing all these things out, and you got thousands of dollars in a guitar, and some of these places are dark. Do I need to buy some basic lights? I don't know. And so you end up spending a lot of money. And I tried to keep it basic, but I did quite well. And I came up with a setup that looped, and I got a Beat Buddy, which is a great piece of gear for a solo guitarist, for practice. That's a great piece of gear. It's a little foot pedal drum machine that you just step on it. It's a really good piece of gear. And I used a Beat Buddy. It had MIDI out. It synced into a looper, and I was off and running. So I started getting gigs. I started at a place called Cherry Pocket Steak and Seafood, and it was a gig that I was referred to by the same friend, and it was a great place to start out. I really enjoyed playing there. I still play there occasionally. It's a great gig. So then I got my 4 hours down. You know, I've got a show, and I'm off and running. Then I started bugging this agent that I knew had a lot of gigs, because I had done a tech show. I was teching, doing my live show load-in stuff, and I see a guitar player, and I, you know, went over to him and I said, how do I get your job, brother? And I'm sure that they get that. You know, I get that all the time. Wow, you've got the best job in the world. How do I get your job? And some people in the business, myself included, I would just tell you how I got that job. And that person said, you can call this person or you can call this person. And it was funny because I did call that person, and he called me back, and I ended up back there working again, and I saw that same guitar player, and I said, hey, he called me back and I'm doing some gigs for him. And he looked at me strangely and he said, that's amazing, because he almost never returns anyone's calls. You must be really good. Whatever you sent him must have been what he was really looking for, because he never calls anyone back. So I ended up working for him, making a lot of money that year, doing gigs at resorts all over. I learned a lot. I honed my craft and really got myself off and running. So that was one of my big breaks, right? To get up and running and learning and meeting other musicians. It was really cool. A couple of the properties that I played at, they did double shifts. So I would be loading in to do the evening shift as a previous person was finishing. And so I met pan players, I met other guitar players, and man, some of them were so good. You're just like, I'm a little nervous coming in here, following this person up. But that was my only chance to meet other people in the community. And then you just look for opportunities. You look for auditions. I'm going to do a video and just talk about how to audition and how to get that audition. Stay tuned for that, because there's the right way to audition, I think personally, and then the wrong way to audition. So, as a guitar player, so I would, at least for like a resort gig or, just a regular, one-man band gig or something like that. If it's a cold call, we'll get into that. I would love to tell you my opinion on that, how that works. So from there I was off and running, and then I had a product. I had a little bit of confidence, not always a lot, but a little bit of confidence. Kind of knew, I knew what I would do given the opportunity. I knew how I was going to go at it. So if you gave me the job, I could show up and do it. And I had done it a few times, and I knew what I was going to do. So I was at least confident enough to say, well, I can hit a few notes. I got a thing. My show has completely changed since then. What I do now is completely different, but that's okay. It should always be changing. You should always be learning. I'm the worst at learning new songs. I get sick of myself just playing the same old songs. Here we are at Publix. I got a honeydew list. I'm going to get some stuff and head on home and make dinner. So this is, the end of the day. This is how it works.